The Good Place is one of the smartest and cleverest shows on television, and it wrapped up its third season this year. I'm Kevin Jacobsen, writer at Gold Derby, and I'm here with William Jackson Harper, who plays Chidi on the show and earned a Critics' Choice nomination earlier this year. So by the end of the third season, we see Chidi kind of exploring romantic feelings for Eleanor after Michael reveals they were in love in the afterlife. And so what do you think it is that draws these two together?
Well, I think each of them is missing something that the other has. I feel like, there's a rigidity that Chidi has that Eleanor does not, and there's a freedom and sort of a resourcefulness and scrappiness that she has that Chidi is too bogged down to even begin to try to discover. So, I feel like there's, I think that sort of brings them together. And I think, it's like, let's be honest, it's like, it's not tough to develop a crush on Kristen Bell. So, there's, at least from Chidi's standpoint, that's, that's kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah, and Chidi also gets another romantic interest in season 3, Simone, in addition to his relationship with Eleanor. So can you just talk about the experience of kind of exploring Chidi's romantic side on a deeper level than the first 2 seasons?
Well, it gets so, it's like the scenes are really fun and they're not super sentimental, and they feel very human and easy to play. And it's sort of nice to not be so caught in my head, it's like just a little bit, for Chi to speak a little bit more from the gut, and from the heart. And so in a way it's in a way it's a little easier, to play some of those scenes, and then, also I think, when it comes to sort of the more physical aspects of like making out and stuff, it's such a clinical thing that you're not even clocking it. You just try not to clack teeth with your scene partner, and that's sort of the long and short of it.
And going into that third season, we had Michael erase the memories of Chidi, Eleanor, Tahani, and Jason, and create a new timeline where they hadn't died on Earth yet, and they all meet each other again for the first time. So was there a difficulty in kind of resetting alongside your co-stars as far as making it feel authentic, that they have no memory of everything they've been through together?
There's like this sort of familiarity that we've developed, obviously, over the first 2 seasons. And the hardest part is, like, we've gotten comfortable with each other, and we have to sort of get rid of that. There's little things that we do in scenes where we sort of like know how to throw the assist to the other person, and you gotta, be able to do that. But like sort of the, sort of wink that would come with that, with the history of those characters, we have to just sort of leave that part out. And so it's a weird sort of tightrope to walk. But on the other hand, I come from theater, so it's like starting over from the beginning is sort of the way that my brain is wired to create and to interpret things. And so it's there's also certain aspects of it that are a bit easier for me.
And you had an episode this season that everyone was talking about, Jeremy Bearimy, where Chidi has a breakdown after one of Michael's afterlife presentations and goes on, I guess you could say, Chidi's version of a bender, where he's taking his shirt off and creating this chili filled with peeps because nothing matters. And so I know you kind of talked about some of your nerves in filming some of the shirtless scenes in that episode, but what would you say was the most surprising reaction you got from after that episode aired?
I mean, honestly, all of it was surprising. I was just trying to not get snapped on. I was just trying not to get my feelings hurt online too hard. And so, the fact that not only did, people not, think negatively about that, but some people reacted very positively was, I was blindsided by it. I mean, the thing that I was hoping was that my phone I would get no notifications of any sort that, that people were talking about it. That was the hope. And so getting any sort of positive feedback was great. It was also like, obviously I was super nervous. So, actually kind of facing that fear was it was really therapeutic for me, So, I wasn't expecting anything, but it was nice to like sort of like face that thing that scares me so much and have people like sort of pat me on the back for it. That was nice.
Yeah. And looking at Chidi's arc, which is difficult because it's not even like a linear arc that follows time as we know it. But when you look back on where he was in the first episode of the first season and looking at him now, willing to make a bold sacrifice at the end of season 3, do you think he has evolved in a major way?
I think so. I mean, I feel like, especially towards the end of season 3, with the knowledge that, they're doomed no matter what, so you might as well be present. That's a brand new place for Chidi to be, because his brain is always working. So being present is the hardest thing for him to do. And, I feel like this is the first time we really get to see that. And, so I think that's a huge evolution. I think that is, it's sort of like it changes the core of the character a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And beyond Chidi and Eleanor, I wanted to ask if there are any other dynamics that Chidi has with other characters that you always personally just enjoy exploring.
Oh, well, I mean, working with everybody is amazing. I mean, like, it's, I find it so easy to work with this cast, and we've really developed a rapport and a chemistry over these last few years that it's just really freeing as a performer. But then, like, I gotta say, Manny Jacinto has my number. He just has me, when it comes to making odd choices that really tickle me. Like it's really fun to get to work with him, because I feel like, I'm very, very much the opposite of like Chidi's very much the opposite of Jason. And so throwing those two together is always a lot of fun. It's always a lot of fun to play, and it's always, I'd like to think that, when we get to do things together, it's kind of fun to watch.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. This season, there was also the Janet episode where Darcy Cardin played all of you guys. So I was just wondering what you thought of her impression of Chidi.
I thought she was great. I thought she was, I mean, I feel like when it comes to the dialogue on our show, sometimes I get hit with some of the most complicated stuff. And it's like it's written very much in my halting oddball rhythm, and she got it. She was rolling down the street one day, and I happened to be walking down Sunset, and she was listening to me in her car and just like really doing a deep dive and really working hard. And I was like, oh, you've gone crazy, but she was I mean, she really did the work. I thought it was great. I was mad that she got to have that really great scene with Eleanor Janet, but she deserved it. I mean, especially after all the work she put in.
Yeah, definitely. Well, speaking of kind of your rhythms, I wanted to ask, because one of the things that makes Chidi so funny, I think, is your delivery of certain lines, like, him reacting to the dot in Jeremy Bearimy, just being like, I'm done. Yeah. Or like when Chidi sees the time knife being like, before I saw the time knife. So I was just curious, like, to know if that sort of emphasis you place on certain words is in the script itself, or if you like to experiment with different line readings.
Oh, I mean, sometimes it's in the script as, it's underlined. I, as an actor, I love trying to find the weirdest way to make a choice that people can connect to, so it's surprising, and so yeah. I mean, like I do like to experiment, as much as I can, and it's yeah. They and they at this point they sort of understand like where rhythmically the writers' room has really sort of started to understand like rhythmically how rhythmically I like to play things, and so they sort of write to that, and then it just opens up a whole new awesome can of worms for me to just like start experimenting with.
Well, so The Good Place has earned quite a bit of awards attention, particularly over the past year, and you were actually nominated at the Critics' Choice Awards for your performance. So what was that reaction when you heard that news?
I was actually I was at the gym, and I was just going through
Typical cheating.
Yeah, and yeah, and I just got it. My phone started blowing up, and people were just like, "Yo, hey, whoa, yay, yo, you see this?" And I wasn't expecting it. It's one of those like just doing this show and getting to play this part is enough reward in itself, that it's just like it's like, well, that other stuff is great, but it's not, you're not even thinking about it. It's just, it's you get to be a part of a comedy that's affecting people. And so that was, I wasn't looking for it. Wasn't expecting it. So it was nice. And it was like the first time I ever really had any kind of recognition like that. And so it made me feel great. I mean, yeah, it's something that I'm just not used to, ever being a part of those kinds of conversations.
Yeah. Also, the show actually won a Peabody Award last month.
Yeah.
And has gotten Emmy nominations, Golden Globe nominations, Writers Guild nominations everywhere. And so I just wanted to ask if these accolades, like, what have they meant for you guys, especially considering how it seems like you're just getting more and more acclaim with each passing year?
It's really nice, and we're really like appreciative of all of the sort of kudos we've gotten, and critical acclaim. It's great, but it's something that we just don't think about day to day. I think that's one of the things that our creators and our producers, it's not the thing to them. It's just like, how can we make something really cool and surprising? And that's sort of all we really think about, and it's all we really focus on. And so it's, it means a lot. And, the only thing we can do is just try to keep doing the most honest work that we can, like that's kind of the only reaction. It's like, oh, well, people are noticing. Well, that's sweet. We owe it to people that are paying attention to try to keep doing the best work that we can.
Yeah. Do you think the fact that the show is kind of premiering on Netflix at a different time, outside of NBC, so it kind of feels like it has two different release dates almost? Do you think that's kind of helped raise the awareness for the show?
Absolutely. I think people will. I mean, people watch TV differently now. They want to just sort of binge the whole thing, and I feel like Netflix has been great for us. I feel like there's very few things that are appointment watching anymore, and I think people don't really want to take that time to just block off this time of the day to watch a show when so many other things are available at your leisure. So it's been a huge boost for us, and it's like the season comes out on Netflix always right before the next season starts up, and so it's sort of it gets people excited because they just get to witness the end of one arc and then just flow right into another in real time, which I think is kind of exciting too.
Oh yeah. Well, before we go, I wanted to ask about a movie that you're in this year, Midsommar, which is Ari Aster's follow-up to Hereditary. So,
Yeah.
I mean, how did you come to be involved in that project?
I auditioned. You know, it was like the old fashioned way. I just you know, I read the script, and it was one of those where I read it and I was like, well, I'm not getting this because I want it too much. You know, I really just I loved the script, and so yeah, I went and made a tape just thinking that it, you know, that was going to be the end of it, as it is with most tapes that you make, you know. And you know, and then it came my way, and I was just like over the moon to have it. So yeah, I'm excited for people to see that one because I can count the times on one hand that I've been that excited about a movie script that I've been asked to audition for.
I'm very much looking forward to that, especially as a fan of Hereditary. So,
yeah, me too.
Oh yeah. So heading into that fourth season of The Good Place, is there anything that you can tell us about what to expect now that Chidi's memories have once again been erased?
Well, you know, you know, it's like we're all in different places now. You know, I think that, you know, it's like the rest of the crew they have their memories intact, and they are still that crew. And Chidi, as far as he knows, is not. And so that will make rather for some really interesting dynamics that I really can't wait for everyone to see. You know, I think this season has a lot of heart and a lot of really beautiful moments that I will not divulge here, but I'm really proud of.
Excellent. Very much looking forward to that. So thank you so much, William, and good luck at the Emmys.
Thanks.
So for everyone else, please hit subscribe for more great award season interviews and head to goldderby.com to make some predictions yourself.